What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction video. I'm so excited for this. We have British accents ranked from easiest to hardest. Before we even jump in the video, I need y'all's predictions. I need guesses. What do you think is going to be the easiest? What do you think is going to be the hardest? Also, if you would like to support the channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit that join button down below, and you guys will receive exclusive benefits that I know you'd enjoy. But without further ado, let's get to these accents. English with Lucy.
Hello everyone and welcome back to English with Lucy. Today we are going to be talking about the big topic of accents. In particular, the accents that you guys find to be most difficult to understand. Now, when it comes to accents, you can't just say this one's easy and this one is difficult. It doesn't work like that. It all depends on where you're from and what you're used to, what you're used to hearing. I speak English with a modern received pronunciation accent, and lots of people tell me that they find it very clear and easy. Yes. But that probably is because my accent is an accent that's commonly taught in schools. You might hear it in films and TV shows quite a lot. One of the most
Her accent is definitely very easy and clear to understand, 100%.
Important things that you can do if you want to improve your comprehension and improve your English listening skills is to familiarize yourself with as many accents as possible, and this is such a fun task. As a starting point, I thought it would be really fun to identify some of the accents that learners of English commonly find hard to understand, so that you can focus on familiarizing yourself with them even more. In order to do this, I created a survey. This is just for fun. It's not scientific, but I think it gives quite a good indication. I took 10 celebrities who speak 10 of my favorite accents, and I took little clips of them speaking. I then asked my students on my email list to tell me on a scale of 0 to 10 how easy they found it to understand that little bit of speech. I averaged the scores, I've put them in order, and I'm really, really excited to show you the results. I can't wait to jump in this, and I'm going to be giving my opinion throughout the video if I think the accent is easy or hard, or if I disagree with the list. I got you. Even more interesting, I will play each clip twice. Once without subtitles, and again with subtitles. I like that. So that you can test your own understanding of each accent clip. Obviously, there will be many variables: the speed at which the person's speaking, the setting in which they're speaking, whether it's formal or informal, but hopefully it will give you a good idea. As always, there is a PDF that goes with today's lesson. It's got all of the information that I shared today, plus links to the full clips and some extra bits as well. If you'd like to download that, just click on the link in the description box. You enter your name and your email address, and you sign up to my mailing list, and then immediately the PDF will arrive in your inbox, and then every week after that, you will automatically receive my lesson PDFs. You'll also receive all of my news, updates and offers, and the opportunity to participate in any future surveys. You don't want to miss out on that. Important research. We have 10 accents, and the person who is ranked... There's something about her, I don't know if it's charisma, her energy, that I guess she make for a great teacher, and I see why people would want to sign up and be a part of the surveys and everything. She seems very genuinely nice. She has a charisma to her, energy to her. She's a dope YouTuber. This is only 3 minutes of getting a chance to react to her. At number 10, i.e. the easiest to understand according to my students, is Queen Elizabeth II, of course. Let me hear it. It helps a lot that she speaks very, very slowly, and this was a formal broadcast. Let's have a listen.
King James may not have anticipated quite how important sport and games were to become in promoting harmony and common interests. But from the scriptures in the Bible which bears his name, we know that nothing is more satisfying than the feeling of belonging to a group who are dedicated to helping each other.
Yeah, she needs no subtitles. Very easy to understand. I can completely understand why she's at 10. Yeah, that was perfectly clear. But I mean, I guess as Queen Elizabeth II, you'd have to be perfectly clear. So agree with the students on this one.
And now let's listen one more time with subtitles on screen so you can check how much of it you understand.
King James may not have anticipated quite how important sport and games were to become in promoting harmony and common interests. But from the scriptures and the Bible which bears his name, we know that nothing is more satisfying than the feeling of belonging to a group who are dedicated to helping each other.
So the Queen speaks the Queen's English.
Yes.
She speaks with a received pronunciation accent on the very top, posh end of received pronunciation. Now, this is an accent that is traditionally regarded as the standard for British English.
It
but
makes
things
sense.
are changing. Originally, this accent was called public school pronunciation. And public
Really?
school actually means private
Private.
school. So an independent school in the UK. State school.
So this is for more of the posh, more of the upper class type pronunciation. Public school, more of the we've got money pronunciation.
With education paid for by the government. Public or private school, you pay for yourself. So this is an accent that was traditionally learnt. And it's quite interesting because it doesn't have a specific geographical location. It was originally spoken in public schools all across the British Isles. It was kind of a sign of class. A couple of decades ago,
Makes sense.
the majority of what you would hear on the radio and on the television would be received pronunciation. But now that is not the case, and rightly so. Let's move on.
Let's see what we got with number
9.
9.
And this is a very attractive to me celebrity. It is Jason Statham speaking in his
I like Jason
gorgeous Cockney accent. I know a lot of you are huge fans of the Cockney accent.
Oh, I'm a fan of
Let's
Jason
have a
Statham.
listen.
And you have to accept that. I mean, we're at the end of the day, we shouldn't be moaning because we're hired actors. You come in, you get paid, shut your mouth, do your work, and go home. It should be a little bit of that, but sometimes you want to try and get involved and you try and collaborate and get things done.
Can we just have a moment of
I do like his accent. He do got a dope accent. I mean, it is fire. I can't hate on the man. And very easy to understand. Very, very easy. Yeah, so I can't wait till we get to more of the trending towards hard to understand. I can't wait to try to hear them and then actually put the subtitles with them. That's what I'm excited for. But yeah, Jason Statham, very easy.
appreciation for men rocking bald heads. Absolutely love them. Right, let's listen again with subtitles and see how much you understood.
And you have to accept that. I mean, we're at the end of the day, we shouldn't be moaning because we're hired actors. You come in, you get paid, shut your mouth, do your work, and go home. It should be a little bit of that, but sometimes you want to try and get involved and you try and collaborate and get things done.
Okay, adore this accent. It originates from the East End of London. Supposedly, you were only a true Cockney if you were born within earshot of Bow Bells. Within earshot means within listening distance, within hearing distance. And Bow Bells are the bells in a church, a historic East London church. Now, the East End of London is changing. And a lot of the people who were born there or who grew up there are moving further out to Essex. So it was very interesting to me to see that number 8 was the Essex accent. So let's play a clip of that. We have a celebrity.
That is very interesting. So the East End, you have to be born in earshot of the bells from this church. Is it still like that? Is it in order to be considered Cockney? Is it still that way? Because she said they're moving out they're going further and further out. So as long as, right, your parents got that Cockney accent, does it get passed down? Or do you just, I guess, assimilate to them accent around you, the environment around you? Let's hear this Essex though.
He called Gemma Collins, who I personally adore. She is so sassy, so entertaining. If I ever feel sad, I look at her top moments on YouTube because, what character? She's just completely herself.
I have become one of the biggest reality stars in Britain. I am a global icon. It's weird, but that's the GC, and that's what I do. I make great TV. I provide you with entertainment, and I kind of explain it to people. It's like Paul O'Grady and Lily Savage. You know, it's how I make my money.
I mean, she's so confident, isn't she?
I feel like, yeah, you are. It is still very easy to understand, but it is getting, you can hear, it's a little more difficult. A tad bit more difficult than the first two, for sure. But I see her in some clips, like, on YouTube, like, funniest British clips, TikToks or whatever, and she's been in a good number of them.
I loved the guy, Eamon Holmes' face, just as she was praising herself. Brilliant. Let's listen again with subtitles.
I have become one of the biggest reality stars in Britain. I am a global icon.
A global icon is
weird,
crazy.
But that's the GC, and that's what I do. I make great TV. I provide you with entertainment, and I kind of explain it to people. It's like Paul O'Grady and Lily Savage. You know, it's how I make my money.
Okay, so the Essex accent is found in and around Essex. A lot of people from the East End, originally Cockney, did move to Essex, or are continuing to move to Essex. It is like a mixture of the estuary accent and the Cockney accent. It's become incredibly popular over the past decade due to a TV show called The Only Way is Essex. It's a reality TV show that follows young people in Essex, very glamorous people, and Gemma was one of them, and her career has just exploded.
Talk to me about that reality show. Have you seen it? Do you like it? Talk to me.
Okay, moving on to number 7. We're going to another country. We're not in England anymore. We are in Wales. And it is the Cardiff accent, as spoken by Charlotte Church.
I feel like number one's gonna have to be in Scotland. I feel like the number one is probably gonna be in Scotland, or is it Northern Ireland? One of those. Well, I'm taking a guess.
Well, I suppose in terms of what the film Ender Milkwood is such an incredible play. Dylan Thomas's writing is so unusual. Yeah, and I'm not really, I'm quite a newbie to acting. I've done bits and bobs in the past.
Very interesting there. Can you hear her say unusual? Where I'd say unusual. So it's almost like she's adding in an extra syllable there.
I'd say unusual too. I wouldn't say unusual. I'd say unusual. So I'm adding the extra. Dang.
She also said incredible with an R sound that I struggle to do. It's like a thing. It's like a rolling R sound.
Incredible.
I love listening to the Welsh accents. They're very melodious to me. Let's listen again with subtitles.
Well, I suppose in terms of what the film Ender Milkwood is such an incredible play. Dylan Thomas's writing is so unusual. Yeah, and I'm not really, I'm quite a newbie to acting. I've done bits and bobs in the past.
If you are interested,
she's definitely getting. It's definitely getting harder to hear the correct to hear exactly what they're saying. The Milk Underwood, I didn't get to catch the name of the film the first time I listened without the subtitles. So maybe a couple words that I didn't quite get. Still got most of what she was saying, but just that film name, I didn't truly understand.
Learning a little bit more about the Welsh accents, then I highly recommend a comedy called Gavin and Stacey. It actually goes quite well with this video because it shows an Essex family and a Welsh family joining because the son and the daughter are getting married. Hilarious, some fabulous Welsh accents in there. Let's move on to number 6. It's the Yorkshire accent, as spoken by Louis Tomlinson from One Direction.
Basically, right, I mean, my name is Louis, but I didn't love it when I was younger. Like, once I was old enough, I don't know why, I just didn't really love it. So I got known as Lewis. All my friends from home called me Louis. And then I get there, it's close enough, sorry. And then I get there on my first day at the X Factor with Simon and, you know what I mean, all the judges, and he called me Louis.
So for me, one of
I've got to. I've heard that. I don't know where I've heard that Yorkshire accent from. but I don't know what TV show, but I definitely know I've heard that. That's definitely different though.
Distinctive things about his accent is that he says me instead of my name instead of my name. That's really distinctive to me. Where I'd say love, he says love.
Love.
I didn't love it.
Love
For
it.
me, it's
I didn't
love it. I find this
Yes.
accent very warm. Love. Yeah, it's just lovely, isn't it? Let's listen again, but with subtitles so you can see how much you understood.
Let's
Basically,
do it.
right, I mean, my name is Louis, but I didn't love it when I was younger. Like, once I was old enough, I don't know why, I just didn't really love it. So I got known as Lewis. All my friends from home call me Lewis. And then I get there, it's close enough, sorry. And then I get there on my first day at the X Factor with Simon and, you know what I mean, all the judges, and he called me Louis.
Did you also hear him not pronounce the H in home? He said, I would say,
I missed that.
From home. From,
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's quite right. From, I need a bit of help with my Yorkshire accent. Another thing I noticed, he said, I were instead of I was when I was younger. When I was younger is what I'd say. That's part of his dialect. Okay, number
So not only is it like a different accent, it's like a different speech as well. Like he's changing some words that, and so yeah, he definitely. I feel like so far, students have picked have correctly listed it from 10 to 6. Yes, starts out super easy, still 6, easy to understand. Still got everything that he was saying, but it's definitely getting harder as each person goes. Here we got it, number 5.
So this is sort of mid-range in difficulty for you. It's the Brummie accent, which is the accent from Birmingham, and we have Adrian Charles speaking it.
So anyway, look, actually, when they're trying to get me to come on here, they give a list of all the brilliant people you've had on in the past. That has the opposite effect on me. I say, you know, Richard E. Grant and stuff. Why would anybody be interested? So anyway, I suppose that's my sort of.
You were just the best I could get.
Well, many a true word said.
Yeah.
So Adrian doesn't actually have the strongest Brummie accent that I've ever heard. But if you find him hard to understand, he is speaking quite quickly here. So if you're managing to understand,
I still got
doing
it.
A really good job.
Okay, yeah, I still
Let's
got
listen
it.
again with subtitles.
So anyway, look, actually, when they're trying to get me to come on here, they give a list of all the brilliant people you've had on in the past. That has the opposite effect on me. I say, you know, Richard E. Grant and stuff. Why would anybody be interested? So anyway, I suppose that's my sort of.
You were just the best I could get.
Well, many a true word said.
Yeah.
Also, how awesome is that sign language interpreter? She was really conveying the comedy quite well.
Yeah.
Now, as lovely as this accent may sound to you, this is actually one of the British accents that faces the most discrimination within the country. There is another one that I'll talk about as well. When people run opinion polls, it often comes up as one of the most disfavoured. But very interestingly, when they run similar opinion polls to overseas visitors, so non-native English speakers, the Brummie accent seems to do quite well. They find it very melodious. This implies that it does badly in polls because of prejudice rather than a genuine dislike of the sound of it. I'd be interested to know your thoughts and to know if there are any accents in your country that you think are kind of unfairly regarded. I know that living in Spain, I learned Spanish with an Andalusian accent, and I have definitely been on the receiving end of criticism. Some of it I take as well-meaning. A lot of it comes from people from other countries who are saying, this sort of accent's ugly, you should learn my accent.
I feel that.
To be honest, because that's the accent I speak with now. Let's move on to the next one.
Number 5, we're still. This is where it's gonna get hard. I thought Northern Ireland would be in the race for number 1. So them being at number 4 is a shocker. If we're taking them out of it, it's got to be somewhere in Scotland. It still could be a different place in Northern Ireland. But I know it's finna get hard here. I definitely know it's finna get hard here. Number 5, mid difficulty, still was pretty easy for me to understand. I think this is where them subtitles start to help me. I know it's gonna be.
Next one, you've rated this as number 4. And I know I shouldn't have favourites, but I think I can. This is my favourite. I absolutely love the way this accent sounds, and I love the person who has this accent.
Oh, if it's who I think it
Nadine
is.
Coyle from Girls Aloud.
Okay,
it's just
not.
a blessing on the ears. It really is. She speaks with a Derry accent. Have a listen of this.
I enjoy cooking, baking and stuff, working with flour and making
Flour?
things I'm not so used to, more savoury, chopping, kind of, when you just zone out, you put your music on and you just chop, just have loads of stuff.
Does anyone else want to just chop and cook with flour? With
Oh,
her?
she was saying chop. I thought she was saying chop with some flour. You chop with some flour. That's what I picked up when she was talking. Okay, she was saying chop the whole time. I was wondering what chop means. I was like, what? I like chat, like talk, chap. But okay.
It's just lovely. See if you can notice that where I would say flour, she says something more like flyer. And she also says mecking instead of making, as I would say it. Chopping.
Yeah.
Really, really distinct differences. Let's listen
Very
again
distinct.
with subtitles.
I enjoy cooking, baking and stuff, working with flour and making sweet things I'm not so used to, more savoury, chopping, kind of, when you just zone out, you put your music on and you just chop, just have loads of stuff.
Lovely. Truly lovely.
I love that. I did love that
Let's
one.
move on to number 3. We have
Where we
another
at?
Girls Aloud member. So you voted these two quite high up on the difficulty scale.
Okay.
Cheryl speaks with a Geordie accent, which you'll find in the city of Newcastle and the surrounding areas. Let's have a listen.
We did 3 hours the night before, and those girls are... So there's a girl out there called Charm, who I used when I did my own solo tour.
Mm-hmm.
I just absolutely adore her. I love working with her. And we did 3 hours with those girls, and those girls were sick.
Yeah.
So I was just watching them the whole time, like, I want to do it like her.
She's so softly spoken that she
Yeah,
speaks
she is.
really, really gently. Let's listen again with subtitles, and then I've got something to say about this accent.
We did 3 hours the night before, and those girls are... So there's a girl out there called Charm, who I used when I did my own solo tour.
Mm-hmm.
I just absolutely adore her. I love working with her. And we did 3 hours with those girls, and those girls were sick.
Yeah.
So I was just watching them the whole time, like, I want to do it like her.
Did you hear her use the word sick? Sick,
Yeah.
I think I've mentioned it in a video recently. It's a slang word for cool.
Yes.
I remember finding it very confusing as a child because I thought it meant bad, but that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to talk a bit more about accents.
Yeah, I say stuff like that all the time. Like, whenever, like, I see, like, I'm a big sports fan, so whenever I see, like, an incredible sports highlights, I'm like, oh, my God, that's disgusting. But that means, like, that's, like, awesome. Or I call it, like, that's nasty. He's amazing. So I use different, I guess, terminology like that as well. Actually, I switched the Geordie and the Northern Ireland. I put Geordie at 4, and I put the last one was a little bit more difficult than Cheryl Cole. To me personally, the Geordie accent was a little easier to understand for me than the Northern Ireland.
Discrimination here because Cheryl, I remember she was in the news quite a lot. I'd say around 10 years ago. She was a judge on the X Factor, a singing talent competition in the UK, and she was invited over to the US to be a judge on the US version, and then she was quickly fired from it, supposedly, and apparently it was due to the producers being worried that her accent would be difficult to understand. Now, I don't know if this was just to generate publicity, but it sounded pretty harsh. I remember feeling really bad for her at the time.
That is harsh.
I feel that even if her accent was kind of new to viewers of the X Factor in the US, they would have gotten used to it.
Exactly.
Quickly. So
for sure.
I don't know if I agree with that decision.
Like when they bring like UK or Australia, it's like, I'll say Love Island because it's a reality show that I love. Like when they bring them to the US version, it's like, yeah, it's a very different accent than all the other people on the show, but I mean, you get used to it, and you really start to like it more than the accents of the U.S. I like when they bring like UK. I like watching the UK version of the show in their accent. Well, I like watching Australian show, the show in their accent. So I rock with the accent.
But I imagine that it was just for publicity. Maybe this was all decided before. Right, let's move on to number 2.
I knew
number
they
2
were getting
is
in there.
a comedian that I'm very fond of. He's called Frankie Boyle. He tells...
Oh my gosh, heard Frankie Boyle so much. But I knew Scotland was going to be up there. I knew, number 1, they're going to have to be someplace in Scotland or someplace in Northern Ireland. They have to. They have to.
Outrageous jokes. He really pushes the boundaries and oversteps them quite frequently, but he speaks with a Glaswegian accent from Glasgow in Scotland. Let's have a listen.
My cousins, when I was growing up in Ireland, their dad was like a fisherman, like on a trawler in Ireland, and he would go away for 2 weeks at a time. And I remember thinking that's the worst thing you could possibly imagine, you know, is that your dad's going to just disappear for 2 weeks, and now it's like, you know, 2 months would be quite standard on a tour.
Very, very distinctive tour. I'm not even going to try to mimic it. This, for me, is one of the hardest accents for me to mimic. One thing I find quite distinctive is that where I would say is, they say as, or
Is
instead of
as.
kind, for me, they say kind. Let's have a listen again
Kind?
with subtitles.
That's exactly how he talked.
My
Kind?
cousins, when I was growing up in Ireland, their dad was like a fisherman, like on a trawler in Ireland, and he would go away for 2 weeks at a time. And I remember thinking that's the worst thing you could possibly imagine, you know, is that your dad's going to just disappear for 2 weeks, and now it's like, you know, 2 months would be quite standard on a tour.
And the last accent.
Number 1 is going to be in England. Oh, I'm going to say Johnny Vegas is going to take that number 1 spot. Could be completely wrong. I'm very intrigued at who takes that number 1 spot. I'm going to go with Johnny Vegas. Or, who's also was a little bit difficult, or has just a very different accent. I think Kevin Bridges had a very different accent. I'm intrigued to see who that got at
The
number
accent
1.
that you voted as hardest to understand. In all fairness, I don't think I gave you the easiest clip. He's speaking very quickly, but his name's John Bishop, and he speaks with a Scouse accent. And there's been a lot of press recently of people who speak with a Scouse accent coming out and talking about the discrimination they've faced. Let's have a listen to the comedian John Bishop speaking with his Scouse accent.
Okay.
Have a listen to those distinctive features.
Yeah, I've wrote about them in the book, but I've called them Generation Z because I've given them a full title because I'm old enough to call things by the full title rather than yourself who's gone Gen Z.
Yeah, that's also the only clip with...
I did, I mean, it's just, I guess it's the most difficult, on the list to understand, but none of these were, like, super difficult, like, for me to get. I don't know. From my experience, I'm saying Scotland or Northern Ireland, you guys have the strongest accents to me for my ears to pick up, but that's just me. That's just me. I guess I haven't heard the Scouse accent really too much. And so I'll let her finish up and we'll talk more about this list at the end.
Music in the background as well, so I'll bear that in mind for next time to make sure it's as fair as possible. However, it is a very distinctive accent. When he says but I, he almost says bara. It's very hard for me to reproduce. He almost rolls his R sounds. Another thing I notice is when they say things like school or cool, they tend to say skill or kill, almost adding in an extra syllable.
Yeah, I've wrote about them in the book, but I've called them Generation Z because I've given them a full title because I'm old enough to call things by the full title rather than yourself who's gone Gen Z.
Right, that is the end of today's video. Those were the 10 accents that you helped me rank from easiest to understand to hardest to understand. I really enjoyed making this video. I love looking at the ins and outs of lots of accents. I'd love to make another video like this, so tell me if you enjoyed it and if you'd like more. Don't forget to download the free PDF that goes with this video. It's got links to all of the full clips so that you can explore more of the accents that you like. Just click on the link in the description box, enter your name and your email address, and you sign up to my mailing list. You'll receive PDFs every week along with my news, course information and updates. Don't forget to check out NordVPN at nordvpn.com.
Oh, we're going to skip the sponsorship. But yeah, I guess this listening team, like I said, it wasn't very difficult at all for me to understand what they were saying. But I guess that's because I was paying close attention to everything to kind of discern which one was the hardest to me. But yeah, I think, like I said, me personally, for my ears, it's like a Northern Ireland or like a Scottish accent, or just when I hear certain people or certain celebrities from the UK speak, I'm like, I don't know what they just said. I need subtitles. But this was a pretty good list. For the most part, I definitely did agree with this list. Let me know what you guys think. Which accent is hardest for you guys to understand? Do you agree with this list that a Scouse accent will be the hardest for you to understand? Or is there another one on this list? Or is there one that hasn't even made the list that's hardest for you to understand? I'd love to hear from you guys. If you happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time.